Hello and welcome everybody from, outside of Las Vegas here. Welcome to the pre-show with Mud Run Guide. We've been out at registration all day today. I'm Margaret Schlachter for those that are joining us for the first time. And we are here. I've got my whole team here. We've got about 4 of us that are going to be on the ground working throughout the whole weekend to bring you updates and live coverage both on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But before we get into that, just want to give you guys a quick view of what happened today here out at Lake Las Vegas for World's Toughest Mudder 2017 registration and pit setup. Well, that was a look at earlier today, and there are still athletes that should now have all gotten their registration done for today, still setting up those last-minute pits from today. And as well, tomorrow the action starts. The pit opens at 7:30 in the morning. We'll be on site at about 9 a.m. in the morning, starting our coverage, including a wedding tomorrow morning. So make sure that you stay tuned to Mud Run Guide channels throughout the weekend, as we'll have updates all weekend long from Lake Las Vegas. But let's look at, for those this year, if you want to get a first look, they have several types of bibs this year. This bib right here is actually one of the just open heat bibs. There are also competitor bibs and elite competitor bibs that all are just a little bit different, so you'll be able to tell the athletes when they're on the course. The orange bibs over this weekend will be for the elite contenders, and then the contender bibs have white with an orange stripe across them as well. So that'll be a good way for you that are watching at home. You're watching the live feeds, whether they're our feeds, whether they're Tough Mudders feeds, or any of the other feeds out there. That is how you'll be able to kind of tell who all the racers are that are out on course. And we're really excited this year. There are some amazing athletes that are out here this weekend. One of the biggest things that a lot of people have been talking about, I have to say, is that you have both John Albin and Ryan Atkins both racing this year as individuals. So as last year they raced as a team together, this year they're racing separately. As well, Steph Bishop is back. She won last year. Morgan McKay is primed and ready to go. I spoke with Allison Ty today. She's also ready to race. Lindsay Webster was in great spirits. She and Chikorita, as you saw in that last video, were chatting at registration today. So it's just been, the energy's been really high today here at Lake Las Vegas in prep for World's Toughest Mudder. But everybody now at this point is, a lot of those elite contenders, they got their registration this morning, and then they got out of there as quickly as possible. A lot of them getting ready to lay down, relax, and take it easy for the rest of the day. I know I spoke with John Albin a couple times this week, and he actually has had almost sound like a flu-like symptom earlier in the week, and is coming into this about 2.5 kilograms lighter than he was a week ago. So it'll be interesting to see how that feeds over onto the course as well. And there's so many women in the women's race that's going to definitely be a race to watch for. And those of you that, I know there was a lot of talk about in the team relay race about Team North America, and those 4 did pick up their bibs today. The Team North America is Mark Jones, Miguel Medina, Austin Azaire, and Chris Mendoza. So all 4 of those guys have gone over 100 miles before at this race. So it'll be interesting to see how they race together in the relay race. As well, there's a number of relay teams from around the country and around the world. So it'll be really interesting to see how that is all set up. This year they set up the pits a little bit differently. So all the top contenders are all in one section, all the team relay athletes are all in one section, and then beyond that are the competitors, and then they have open pits available as kind of behind that as well. So it'll be interesting to see as they're all kind of grouped together. We'll be able to watch the athletes as they come in and out throughout the weekend, which will be a really great way to sort of figure out where everybody is, see how they're doing, and I think it'll be interesting too because a lot of the athletes will actually get to see each other since all their pit spaces are really close together, and their crew will be able to see how each of the athletes is doing as they come in from each of their laps. So those are a few things to watch out for as well. And I can tell you the buzz around here is electric. I think a lot of people are also wondering, as they've said multiple times, that it looks like this is going to be the last World's Toughest Mudder here in Las Vegas. There's a lot of speculation out there today as to where it might be in the future. So we've been told that there's a chance that we'll know where the 2018 location is as early as Monday during the brunch. We've been told that might be announced. So it'll be interesting to see if that is announced and what that ends up being. But that's basically what's been going on here today. It's been a lot of people coming in and out. There's over 1,600 competitors. So on the start line tomorrow, as they have done in the past, they're doing a rolling start of some of the obstacles. So the first lap, for the most part, will be a running lap for almost all the athletes. And then they'll roll open the obstacles so that there won't be those obstacle jams for those 1,600 people all going off at the same time. But for those of you, we have a special little piece. We talked to a couple of the top athletes earlier today, and we've got a special little piece for you, especially those that it is going to be your first World's Toughest Mudder. We have some words of advice from some athletes who have been out there quite a few years. So let's get some advice from them.
As much as you can. You have 24 hours to settle into the event, and my biggest piece of advice is make sure you get into your warm gear before the sun goes down.
I always have the same goals. Don't get dead, don't get broke, have fun, pull as many miles as you can. So my goal is 65.
Do you have any piece of advice for somebody that it's their first time,
Ziploc baggies in the tent, Margaret. Keep warm, get your wetsuit on early, never stop moving.
I think, there's loads of people out there that are going to help you, so just relax and enjoy the experience and keep plodding away and just keep out on course. Don't really think too much. It's so easy to think, oh my God, there's 12 hours left. Just think, okay, get through the next lap or get to the next obstacle and break it down and keep going, and you'll surprise yourself with what you can do.
Well, excellent. Well, good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Ooh, you just have to keep going. Like, it's partly mental. I mean, if you can just tell yourself, just finish this lap, get whatever you need to start a new lap. Even if you have to walk, just walk. Whatever you need to do to keep moving forward, I think is the best thing you can do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, that was some pieces of advice, and I am now with Cassie Harris, who is, we're actually all staying in a house right now. I'm here with Team Four Eyes. We've got a couple other athletes that are staying here, but Cassie, you are a known member of the World's Toughest Mudder community. You interact with a lot of people. So I guess, what was it like for you being out there today? With what vibe are you getting from everyone?
Everybody was really excited. For us, this is the last year that we're going to be out here in Las Vegas, so everybody was, waiting in line and sharing stories over the years. We've been here this is our 4th year, so we have so many amazing stories of just triumph and camaraderie and community, and you saw a lot of that kind of electric nostalgia with everybody out there, so it was pretty amazing.
And you've run this race, and you've been in the pit as crew. You're going to be in the pit as crew this year, right? Yep. So we just heard from the athletes what their pieces of advice. If I'm a pit crew and it's my first time pitting, you being pit crew, you've done this a couple times now. What is advice that you would give to all of those that are watching and their family members or friends or whoever it is that got dragged to the desert for 24 hours and probably bribed by
absolutely
something? Mm-hmm. But what piece of advice would you give to someone this is their first time doing this?
Your athlete is going to hit a point where they're going to go dark, where they are frustrated or tired or cold, and they may say some things that, they otherwise wouldn't say. It's mainly your job to just be positive and encourage them to continue to keep moving. Let them know that these moments are fleeting and they'll pass, and just, keep a smile on your face. Make sure you offer a lot of hugs. And get ready. When they leave the pit, make sure you know exactly what they're going to need when they come back. If you notice that the temperature is dropping rapidly, then take the initiative to make sure they have an extra jacket or anything like that. But honestly, just stay positive, because there will be a point where they are just hating life. And they're going to turn to you to be that warmth and positivity that they need to go back out there for another lap.
And for the people, I know this is a special piece, I would say as well, but for someone that's crewing for their loved one, do you have any special piece of advice for crewing for your spouse, your significant other, maybe your child or your parents? Someone, it's family. You can't just sort of drop it off.
This is, for me, crewing for someone you love or someone that you care for. You're going to see sides of them that you may not be used to seeing all the time, and it's a relationship builder. So if you are family, like I said, just understand that they're going through so much, and they are probably stressed or mentally at a breaking point, and some things may be said that otherwise would not be said. So use it to grow your relationship, to learn about each other, and come through it the other side even closer than you were, because seeing them overcome so much is the most rewarding thing that you will get from this entire experience. It's euphoric. For sure. Yeah.
For sure. And I have to ask you, who are you most excited to watch? Obviously, other than Team Four Eyes, because you're pitting for Team Four Eyes, but who are you most excited to see out there on course, and what do you think are going to be the kind of stories that start developing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Ryan Atkins, he just is so wonderful to watch and is a very good friend of mine. For the relay team, Team North America, God, I love those guys, and I'm really glad that everything is kind of compatico and they'll be able to get there and really put themselves out there. But I'm so excited to see how they'll perform. Morgan is just a phenomenal athlete, and she's putting her heart and soul. Stephanie Bishop is another one to watch. Albin, of course. Killian is out there.
Yes,
and then the kind of underdogs, they're my favorite. Watching people just put in their own race and just push themselves, and every time they come into the pit, they're like, man, I didn't know I could do that, and I did it. And they're just so excited. So seeing people, I love watching people blossom.
Yeah.
As they overcome mental barriers or physical barriers, and to me, that's what makes this race.
Well, awesome. Yeah, I think I completely agree. I think all of those races, I think Allison Ty and Chikorita, it'll be fun to watch them race.
Allison, yeah.
And as I talked to Chikorita earlier today, I was like, I just want everyone to be healthy and have their best race possible, so that all of us watching it, either whether it's you guys watching at home or it's us watching from the sidelines or watching your fellow competitors, you just want everybody to have their best race.
That's the most important thing, is going out there, having fun, pushing yourself to do what you want to do, and not racing for anybody but you. And to me, that's the best thing that you could possibly do.
And I think, well, because we're all in a house right now, honestly, so there's two guys from Team Four Eyes that are just around the corner right now that I don't know if Walter or Casey want to come into this feed and give their 2 cents. This is what happens when you have a whole bunch of people all in one house. is you guys come right in behind and
Let's get behind.
They can go back there. Can you see them?
Yes.
So you guys have done this a lot of times, and what piece of advice, because we got advice from some of the top competitors, but you guys have been doing this every year. You've had some years that have been more successful, some years that have been
Not so successful. You can say it.
So before we kind of let this go, I want to see what you guys have to say. They should be. So come on, actually, guys, why don't you come sit here?
Yeah.
Come on in.
You're making it awkward.
We're gonna bring them closer.
You do. It's on my lap.
Girl, these hips don't lie.
Well, now it's all one big cozy family. So guys, tell me what your pieces of advice are for those watching this right now, whether you're at home and you want to try to watch this whole thing from home, or if you're racing, just what are some pieces of advice you guys can give?
So we all started racing since we've done this. This is our 7th year.
Yeah.
And we all started as individuals, and then we quickly realized we couldn't do it as individuals.
There was no team category, which is ironic because now there's no team category.
So we found our favorite people to run the race with, and then we've run it every year with our favorite people.
Yeah.
At 2 a.m, people get really annoying. So we run it with our favorite people, and we have a good time. And
Yeah, you find your pace, and you end up kind of like spreading out and finding other people who are like at your level or at your pace, and I feel like you kind of bond or don't bond. You kind of build your nest of people, and so we built our little nest and just kind of stuck together. I think the biggest thing to worry about is just breaking it down into manageable pieces. And not to plug teachers, but as a teacher, you have to break your lessons down, chunk them down to manageable pieces, not just here's the whole thing, take it all at once, like pass or fail. Like you have to break it down to small little things you can do, and you pass one and you go to the next, and you pass one and you go to the next, and by the end of it, you have this awesome thing you've done. So I feel like that's a really
there's definitely
smart
chapters to this event.
Yeah.
The first chapter is just getting there, setting up your pit, and then getting all your logistics together. And the second chapter is starting, and then the third chapter is getting to that 6 or 7 o'clock dusk time, and then the next chapter is getting to midnight and getting through the cold.
Yeah.
So there's definitely chapters to this event, and then also having your pit crew that's your foundation. So having a good pit that knows exactly what you need, knows exactly where you are on the course, and making sure that you're set up for success, because we're not, as the athletes, we're typically, at least for me, if I'm a hypothermic, I'm not thinking right, so I'm thinking.
No, and looking back, and you can attest this too, because you were there the first year. Looking back when pit crews weren't even allowed, it makes such a difference having a team of people who are supporting you behind the scenes, who are checking on you and who are prepping meals for you, or making sure all your needs are met to push you back out there, at your best. And that makes a huge difference.
So I've got to ask you guys. I asked Cassie already. Your picks for this, or what stories you think are going to develop tomorrow and Sunday. We keep saying tomorrow, but it's really all weekend. Let's just say all weekend.
All weekend. The whole time. What are we looking to see, or what do you think is going to happen?
What do you think is going to happen? Who do you think are we going to see that rises to the top this weekend?
I'm really pulling for some unknowns. I want some unknowns to come out of nowhere and either A, really give our kind of staple contenders a run for their money and sharpen each other and make it a really entertaining race to watch and expand our field, or just some dark horses who have been out there for years trying and just really reach that moment they've been trying to get to for years.
I'd say it's hard to go against the national team for the men. That is a hardcore legit team. So they're my front runner for the men, but the women's race is that's where I think it's gonna.
I think I'm most interested in watching the women's races here.
Between Chikorita and Morgan and Steph and Allison, definitely Allison.
And just Deanna being out there, who's amazing to watch.
Yes, and Deanna Blegg is back.
I'm so excited
racing.
to watch her.
For those that don't know, Deanna Blegg has been dealing with cancer for last year. She didn't get to race last year, and now she's back again. She's won this race before. And, I mean, if you don't know Deanna Blegg's story, after this feed's over, go Google her story.
Amazing.
It will be hard not to be inspired and be pulling for her
and she
this
looks
weekend.
good.
Yeah, she does. You look good, girl.
I can't wait for you to pass me.
I love that hair.
All the time.
Well, cool. Thanks, guys, and Cassie, thanks. And I think that just about cuts it. There is a community dinner tonight at the Fiesta. So if you're here in Las Vegas, that's open to everybody, right?
Get your buffet on, guys.
And then tomorrow, again, the action Mud Run Guide will be on the scene at about 9 a.m. in the morning. The pit opens at 7:30, but there's no real need for us to be there. There's a wedding at 10 a.m. and then the race kicks off at noon, and then it's a 25 and a half hour when you add the extra little bit. But then it's a dance in the desert, so we will be there the whole time. And stay tuned. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you want to, you can always comment underneath of who you are pulling for this weekend. So we'll see you guys out there.